Hey guys, what's up? It's Figgy, and I'm about to do my personal recap on the episode of Survivor called Survivor Jackpot. So we all know, and I speak firsthand when I can say that tribe swaps screw everyone, okay? They just do. Showmances do, and tribe swaps do. We have 3 tribes now. We went from 2 to 3. We have the Tavua tribe that consists of Troyzan, Suri, Ozzy, Andrea, Zeke, and Sarah. Don't mind me looking away. I have my little notes on my computer screen over here. I just watched the new episode about an hour and a half ago because Trump spoke last night in Nashville and decided he was gonna be more important than Survivor. So I don't really agree with that, but I got to watch it this morning and I'm all caught up, so I'm kind of still trying to remember who's on what tribes. So like I said, Tavua is Troyzan, Suri, Ozzy, Andrea, Zeke, Sarah, and Troyzan is the only original Mana tribe member. Everyone else was on the original Nuka tribe. Now we have the new Nuku tribe, which is Sandra, Michaela, Jeff, JT, Malcolm, and Aubrey. JT being the only original tribe member from the Nuku tribe. Everyone else from Mana feels like they died and went to heaven because the Nuku camp is pretty lit, as the millennials say. And then for the new Mana tribe, it's Culpepper, Haley, Caleb, Ty, Debbie, and Sierra. Let's get to it. Things that stood out to me a lot were JT taking everyone out to go snorkeling and to go spear some fish. And JT, abandoned ship, and he goes to fix the spear. He's like, I gotta go get the pliers because Malcolm hit a rock and one went the other way. I don't know. But this was a perfect opportunity for JT to go back to camp, get the pliers, aka I'm gonna go search for that idol with the small time I'm given. So he did that, and it kind of was like a scene from a movie because everyone's like, he's been gone for a little while now. They all caught on to what JT was doing, wasn't fooling anyone. And unfortunately, JT is still in the outs, even doing that even more now, but he did not find an idol, and he better get his hands on one quick, or the next time they go to Tribal, it's looking like he's gonna go. Not only this episode did JT abandon ship, go get the pliers, aka I'm gonna go find that idol, but he also was trying to feed the queen, Sandra. Him and Malcolm corner some goats, they chase after it, and they catch a mama goat and a baby goat. Now y'all, I know how hungry we get out there, but personally, it would hurt my heart to have to slaughter a baby goat or its mom, knowing that we'd be releasing the baby out into the wild without its mom, or taking a baby from a mom. I know how hungry we get. Sandra's, the first person to say, I don't care, I'm hungry, I want to eat this goat. But they have chickens, and everyone else is just like, well, it's, it makes me sad, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, they let the goats go. We don't sacrifice a goat today for the queen, but we will sacrifice a chicken. That was hilarious. And then we go to the new Tavua tribe. Troyzan is collecting firewood with Andrea on the new Tavua tribe, and he's reading right through her. No matter what words she says to try to make him feel comfortable, it's not working. And the sun's beating on Andrea, and she's getting too hot, so she's gonna go back to camp with the firewood. And Troyzan's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna gather some more, aka I'm gonna pull JT and I'm gonna go run and look for that idol. And that's exactly what he did. He's pulling things and throwing things, and Lord behold, there's a message in a bottle. Another scene from a movie. This is great. He finds it and he starts tearing up, and I didn't have the privilege of actually stumbling upon a coconut with a marking on it or a piece of bamboo with a marking on it. But when you watch these characters find any sort of a clue or an idol, it's very emotional because these characters, for the most part, are in a vulnerable state and they may be on the outs, and that's why they're desperately looking. So this clue is pretty much telling him that he has to pull a Kelly Wentworth from Survivor Second Chances and grab the immunity idol during an immunity challenge and stick it in his pants somehow without anybody noticing. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to the challenge scene where we're going through an obstacle course where we dip a bucket into water, pour the water into a bucket, the bucket drops, opens the door, we get to the puzzle, and we put it together, untie the knots, yada yada, you get it. The original Mana tribe has Debbie, Caleb, and Ty running the course. It kind of already sounded like it would have been a disaster. But then you have Malcolm, JT, and Michaela just blazing through the course for Nuku, which Michaela's a freaking beast, and you got 2 strong guys with her, so that was a perfect matchup for them. And I can't remember who was running for Tavua, pardon me, but I was just remembering off the top of my head those were the people. So first place of the immunity challenge will get a tarp, and then they will get their selection of comfort in forms of blanket and pillows and a hammock, or they can pick spices and salts and peppers and all of those things to enhance the taste buds with the island food. So first place of the immunity challenge ended up being Nuku by a landslide. They picked comfort in the forms of pillows and blankets and a hammock and possibly candles. That's what we got on our season. I don't know if that's what they got. And then second place was such a close finish, but it ended up being the new Tavua tribe. And they ended up getting comfort in the forms of spices, so salt, peppers. I think there was hot sauce, soy sauce, which I wish we would have had on our season. Oh my god, that would have been an actual game changer. And then Mana ended up losing and sending them to tribal council. We get to this tribal council and it gets to be between Caleb and Haley. And this is where it gets interesting because Ty is super close with Caleb. He's like, we need him for challenges, which is true. They do need, you know, these guys to help with strength. And I'm all girl power, like women kick ass and beat up the guys in these challenges, pull an Aubrey, spit some, like I'm all about it. But you will always need at least one guy that's gonna be strong. And for that tribe, it's gonna be Brad Culpepper. So we took Caleb out, and it's very sad because, you know, he was in the game for 9 days during Kawarong, and I may have said that wrong. I really don't care. I'm not good at pronunciating things. Season 32, he lasted 9 days, got medically evacuated, and the season he comes back, he lasts 9 days and gets taken out. So I think 9 might be Caleb's lucky number, but I hated to see him go. I wanted to see him do great things. But now this is where things get interesting because Ty has now proven himself to his new tribe mates, but also we see that he will slit the throats of his own allies. So could that be a possible threat for the remaining people? And will they try to get him out? I don't know. Now for each tribe, I'm going to go ahead and go over who I think is in a really good place and who I think is really in a bad place. So for the new Tavua tribe, Troyzan obviously is in a great place. On next week's episode, I kind of am anxious to see if Tavua goes to tribal council. I kind of want to see Troyzan play this idol sooner than later. But at the same time, it's like no matter when he plays it, he's going to shock so many people, and the looks on people's faces are going to be epic. Troyzan's in a great spot. I think that once he does play it, and if it happens to be next week, that possibly Suri, Ozzy, or Andrea will go. And I'm thinking Andrea. Why? Just because strictly that conversation we got to see in this past episode that he had, you can read right through her, and you got to get rid of people like that. You don't want to keep them around. You don't want to keep playing with them. For me, everyone on the Nuku tribe is in good shape except for JT and Sandra. JT obviously is on the outs, and if he doesn't find an idol soon, or if he doesn't give it away when he does find it to another tribe, sorry low blow, can't help myself, then he's screwed. But if not, he might be able to find a crack and wiggle his way in and convince them to get rid of Queen Sandra and overthrow her. You gotta do what you gotta do. With the new Mana tribe, I think that Culpepper is in the best shape possible. I think the two people in the hot seat are gonna be Sierra and Ty. And you might ask why I think Sierra is in the hot seat. She was defending Haley, and that could seem dangerous for Culpepper or Debbie's game, but if, you know, they're really in this tight alliance, then Ty's going to be on the outs because he was so conflicted with voting Caleb out, but then he ended up doing it. So, you know, he's going to slit the wrists and the throats of anyone that he's in an alliance with, and he's not afraid to do it. So that's pretty dangerous for people's games too. So that was my recap of episode 2/3 of Survivor Game Changers. Comment below what you guys thought and what you guys think is going to happen next week. I love you guys so much. Mwah! Until next time, Figgy has spoken.